Yes, hello, and welcome to the February 2017 IrisBG Q&A webinar. This time we're going to sort of focus specifically on data import. I'm Havard, and together with me we have the great pleasure of having Greg Payton from Dawes Arboretum. You could say hello, Greg, maybe?
I will say hello, Greg.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Greg, fantastic. Yeah. So Greg is Dawes Arboretum is our reference garden in North America, and so if you have any questions during the session, please feel free to use the chat function, or if you have a microphone, use that. And we will try to squeeze in a few other questions at the end as well that are not related to data import, but data import is today's topic. And why is that chosen? Well, data import is a very powerful part of Iris, but it also is a bit technical. It's a bit tricky to get comfortable with for some people, or for most people probably. But when you sort of, cross a certain kind of barrier, you will be, very happy with what you can do with it, because it is so powerful. So what I've started with here is to just quickly show you from our website what you can use the data import to. There is you can import a lot of data. You can import taxonomy. You can import accessions. You can import localities. That is, people, or where it came from in the wild, library records, permits, and different events. Today, we're going to walk through an example where we have picked. I sort of prepared a spreadsheet with some odd data in it, and then I'm going to tweak it so that it actually gets. Hopefully, we can get it into the system. I will use the trial version of Iris, and that's a very good place for you to start also if you want to try to import things, because obviously you can't really, mess it up. So that's the top tip. When you want to sort of get comfortable with the data import, use the trial version, and then we hopefully will, get more knowledge after we finish this. Okay, so let's see. First, I'll show you the first step when it comes to data import. Where is it? So here I am running the trial version, and the data import is found down here under import data. And the way it works is basically you open a spreadsheet here, and then you load it into the system. And then the most important part of that is that Iris will check your data to make sure it's correct, or as correct as possible, and will reject any files that contain sort of logical mistakes. For example, if you have used a location that doesn't exist, or etc., etc. This will become more familiar to you. So when you want to prepare a data import, you have to have that. The most common tool is to use Excel or a spreadsheet. You can also use CSV files and other types of files, but obviously spreadsheets are easier. And the spreadsheet needs to then follow a certain setup. So you need to refer to column names so that you can match what Iris expects from you. And all these columns you will find in the help. If you go here, help, and just do contents, and then you do usage, and you do import files. Here is a detailed list of all of what to do and all the field names that you can use. So it's a lot of field names, and it's a bit daunting when you look at it first time. And it's grouped under what kind of information you're importing. So if you want importing taxon names or taxon details, etc. Sometimes it's very hard to figure out what these field names are. The best way to figure that out is to probably run a report. Go to Iris, go back to Iris, and for example, if you're going to import taxa, if you just do a report and then run a report on some of your taxa with a lot of fields, you will see that the field names are the same as for the import in most cases. So that means that you can sort of get familiar with the field name and what you find in the fields by using the report to see the matching thing. So that's sort of one sort of story or how to help you. So let's start with our example. I'm going to open up a spreadsheet here that I have. This is sort of we've seen a lot of spreadsheets over the years, and they contain all kinds of information, obviously. But this particular one is sort of just an example where someone has recorded some accessions manually in a spreadsheet. And you can see here we have a date purchased, Latin name, etc. Some colors, and a little bit of different things going on. And I can see straight away that a lot of these things are unfamiliar to Iris. Instead of explaining why, I will just go through the columns and try to tweak it so that we can prepare it and get it into the system. And what I've done before I started is to install an add-in called the IrisBG Excel Add-In. So that's a free thing that you can put in that will help you to prepare data imports. I will show you where that is if you go back to our website here. So if you want to download that one, you can do that through support downloads. And down here under Microsoft Office Excel Add-In. So there's two add-ins, one for Excel and one for Word. The one for Word is for creating formatted labels with and here you see what it does, so the detailed description, and then down here is the download instruction, so how you can install it. So that will work with Excel 2010 and Excel 2013. It might also work with the latest. I have not had time to test it, but at least with those two versions. It should work with the latest as well, but I haven't tested it, so there we go. Okay, so let's get started here with the spreadsheet. Now, we're going to see these are accessions. There's some taxon information. There's some when it's purchased, where it came from, or etc. So different things. So the first thing I can say is that I know that there are a few fields that has to be filled in for it to be accepted by the system. And if I go back to the help file, which I of course closed completely, which wasn't a good idea. So I go back to contents here, import files. Yeah. So I need to scroll down to Accession. Here we go. Here I can see. So this is a bit sort of get used to, but there's something called action. So these fields that are marked as are required. I'm not sure if action is required, but we can put it in so I can explain a bit more about that. And then ACK year and ACK number. So here you can see that accession number is split into two fields. And if I go back to Iris, you will see that it correlates. I might go a bit fast, so but feel free to rewind later. So let's see here. So you see when you record in Iris, you have one field for year and one field for number, and that will then together become year and number field combined. So for the data import, you need to import one of each. Okay, so then we go back to our spreadsheet. And we see here that I have a year, but that's empty. I have a date purchased. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a column. I'm going to insert two columns. And then I'm going to put in the action column just because and then I'm going to change year to ACK year. That was empty, so it doesn't matter. And ACK no. So here we have dates when we purchased. So what I can do here is to, of course, extract the date from the date it was purchased to get the year. So I can use a formula for that because I know there's a formula in Excel to extract the year. I could also copy the date and change the date format. But I will here just use a formula. So I'm just going to say L equals year of D2. So this becomes a bit like Excel training as well, but bear with me. And then you see I get the 2015 here. Fantastic. Then we can use a trick to fill the column with this formula. I'm just going down here. I only have a 30-something columns, rows, so I can just press Control D, or this might be a shortcut here as well. No, it isn't. Control D to fill. Oops. To fill down the values. Oops, I took all the values. That was wrong. Oops, sorry about that. So I was trying to multitask here. We'll try again. Control D. There we go. So now we see that we got the year for everyone. That's good.
And you can also sort of cheat if you click one of those year boxes. You'll see just under Acura there, one of those. Okay, do you see at the lower right corner? There's the little box at the corner of the bounding box. Yeah, if you click that and drag down, that will actually copy the values down as well.
Oh, I learned something new today.
Yeah. So, and if you have and there's actually options for it. You can have it order sequentially, or copy values, or do various things with it that way.
Wow.
How do you change that if you want it sequential or copy values? Where do you do that?
Let me call it up here and look on my computer where I can actually do it.
Now I'm pulling it down, and then probably here I will then get the option. Copy cell. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. I've been using Excel since Stone Age, and I learned something.
Yep.
Wow.
Exactly. That's the way I've always done it. I've never used your method, so now I learned something too. So.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah. So there we go. What I could have done here now is to, if I don't fill this in, Iris will automatically give me the next number available. And that's what I will go for in this time. But if you wanted to, you could start typing 1, 2, etc. Or you could use a formula equals C at 2 plus 1. So you get the running sequential like that way. Anyway,
or
but I'm not
drag down like I just explained and choose order sequentially. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So let's see that. Whoops. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we're keeping it. We let the system give that for us. And date purchased doesn't sound like something we have in Iris. So we have something called received date, I think. If I go back to my help file again to cheat. I know it's down here somewhere, so I'm going to, instead of spending too much time on this.
Yeah, there it is, rec date.
Rec date, yeah, exactly. That's the one. So, that. And then here we come to something interesting, Latin name. Now, in Iris, when it comes to data import, it's not only Latin name is not correct, but more importantly, you have to split the name into genus, species, etc., etc. Now, that is very time-consuming. However, that's when this Iris tool chest becomes very handy. If I now select this column and use this one, split taxon name, it will munch through the columns and try to make sense of it. So I'm just doing that. So there were 33 names. That's great. And the question, would you like to remove empty columns? You say yes to that because it will try to find infra-specific level 1 to all the different components in a name. And if there are no values in either of those, it will get rid of those columns. So you get a bit more of a leaner spreadsheet if you do that. To make it a bit more manageable, it will put this in a new sheet. So now you see that our data is here and the names are here. It did also try to analyze the first row, which is a bit silly, so I'm going to get rid of that straight away. And then we can see that if we go down here, we can see that something was not perfect, like this Qualifier. Now, this is probably a cultivar. and the same with the blue tango. So we don't have any rows with that's also a cultivar. So what I'll do is I'm just going to change it to cultivar. And the reason it didn't think it was a cultivar because it was lacking hyphenation or quotation marks. I'm not going to deal with the quotation marks yet because we have things to do with there. But here we can see that blue tango is actually split into species, and so I'm just going to fix that. I put blue tango in here and get rid of that. Here we got a couple of where we only have the genus. That's not really very good. But if I recommend that you at least just fill in SP here, so that you get, you might already have it. So that means, okay, we know what genus it is, but we have no idea what kind of species it is. So we could do that for this one as well. And then I'll go down further. Here's another one. And we can do it for this one as well. And here's, yeah. And here we got some sort of uppercase things. Now that's very annoying. So, but what we could do here is I could just mark these two, and on our tool chest we have still also a possibility to make it uppercase, lowercase, whatever we want. We don't want to ruin the species, so maybe I'll just do it like this, and then make that sentence case, so we get the first letter capitalized.
I'm sorry. Would you just do that again, Havard? I missed where you.
Yep. Yeah. So the only problem with these things, I can't undo it, but let's do these two instead. So I wanted to make it proper case. So this on the IrisBG tool chest, you have something called change case.
Got it.
Where you can. This is a similar function you have in Word, but it's not built into Excel. You can use formulas to do the same, but it's a bit cumbersome when you're trying to prepare data sets. So if I can probably do it with both these, so I can just do like this and then capitalize it, and then it will sort of tweak it. It wasn't probably necessary for the or the genus. Yeah, that might be handy. Yeah. And if we go up here, the final thing we can do is to take the cultivars and quote them, because all the cultivars need to be quoted with a single quote. So that goes, and that sorts that out for you, which is really nice. And it also fixes, if you have used double quotation marks, it will replace it for single quotation marks and those kind of things.
Terrific.
And then last, I think your row 2, the number 51, is going to cause an issue there.
Sorry, what one?
Yeah, row 2.
Oh yeah, that will. Yeah, exactly.
If you're getting to that, yeah.
I'm getting into that. Yeah, what we'll do now, we'll put this back into our sheet. So I'm just going to select those and copy them, and then go back and put the marker after a Latin name and just insert copy cells. So we got it here. Now we have it, and we can get rid of this one then. Or either or, we'll get rid of this one. We don't need a taxon name because it's here. So, yeah. So that one will not be accepted by Iris, but that's fine. We can leave it just as a reminder, because if we want to change other names here, it's a reminder to see what we had before we started. Okay. And then here we got a common name. So that is. Now we can go back and check again. We can do that. So that's a bit further down. But the thing is, this seems like a very labor intensive. The thing is, you probably will do this once or twice, and then you get the feel for it, and then you probably have a template or the fields that you usually import, and then you're sort of up and running. So I'm just trying to find taxon name. I know the name, so it's a bit of a thing to wade through. Hold on. Here we go. Taxon common name. Yeah. And here we see another thing. We also need to, because it says required, we need to also have the taxon name type. So I'm going to go in here, and then so taxon common name, like that. And then I'm going to insert and say taxon name type. So these are all English. And here we see there's a bit of strange stuff going on, or etc. We need to probably tweak that. And there's a bit of lowercase. So what I'll do is I'm going to do this trick again and fix the case so that it's each word. So it looks nice. And then I'm going to say, okay, we're going to use this one just for the sake of it this time. And then I want to fill in English on all of those that are filled in. And that's a bit cumbersome. However, the trick here then would be to filter this. So if I go to data, switch on filter, you will now have the possibility to. This filter function is really handy when you work on larger sheets, because that also gives you the possibility to see quickly through what kind of data you have in a long column. So here, if I now get rid of, I only want to see the ones that are filled out. So I get rid of the blanks. And then I can fill in the type here, English. And then I got to do the Mr. Payton trick. And go down like that. Wow. Finished. And then we can switch off the filter again. Here we go. Neat.
And then, of course, one caveat, those would have to match how you have it set up in Iris, because that's a customizable field. So if you changed how that's entered, it would have to match your setup under the definitions, for the code lists.
Yeah, let's. That's a very good point. If I go back to Iris here, all these codes. Sometimes you need to fill in a code, and all these codes are here under definition. So let's say I got a list of German common names, and I have never had any German common names before. So then I would have had to go in here under code lists, and then so most of these drop-downs, all the drop-downs are here, but a lot of them are sort of bunched in here because they only have a code and a name and no logic to them. So we can go and have a look here, and here we got English, Norwegian, and some Chinese and stuff. So if I wanted to then have German, I could just do there and then add it like that to German. There we go. So now I can import German code lists. Yep. Or German common names.
Right.
Okay. So let's deal with this. I know this will be problematic. This is so basically, I have no idea. There's something strange going on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to import this as an unknown genus. So what you can do, if I go to taxa here, I think I already have recorded this in my system here, but if you haven't, yeah. So I've just recorded one taxa, which is called unknown family, unknown genus. So you have no idea what it is really, and that's fine. But what is important, if you record that, if you want to add that, first of all, you also put it as provisional. That means that it won't be exported to the Garden Explorer website and things like that. So yeah, it's sort of, and if you send data to BGCI or etc., it will not be included. So that's, you can also create. Yeah, that's fine. We'll stop there. So that's the taxon name. So I'm just going to copy that and go back to my spreadsheet. And just, that's what and I'll remove that species. So I'm not sure if I'm going to bother to retain that information. We'll leave it at that. So now that should be ready. Let's go on.
Or you could put the number 151 as a cultivar.
You could do that, but then it becomes a new taxa. We could do that. Let's do that. We could do that. Yeah. So Even though that's a bit weird, but we can do that. And then you can change that taxa when you know what it is. That's a possibility.
Mm-hmm. At least that saves that number, so you can then see what it was supposed to be when it was previously listed.
Yep. And we don't have a column name. Origin. This looks like distribution.
Yep.
So that's called taxon distribution, like that. Hybrid, that doesn't look like distribution. So this is a typical thing when you look at it. Look at the data. And if you use a filter again, you could quickly, if there were thousands of rows, you could sort of scroll through and then see if everything makes sense. And then you think, oh, that doesn't make sense. Hybrid, if you had seen it this way. So I'm just going to get rid of that. I could have, I'll get rid of it. Just for the sake of it now. Type. Now this is life form in Iris, which is very different. Here they use some bush, palm, etc. And in this particular version of Iris, if I go to details here, you will see that life form is set up in this system with perennial, herb, evergreen, tree, etc. So it's very different. So here we need to really tidy up a lot. What I'll do is I'll tidy up a few and get rid of a few just to make it a bit swift. So if I go to the code lists again, and then open my life form list. Where is it? Life form. There we go. Here we go. So let's do the deciduous trees first. And if I go back here now, small tree. Let's see. I'm going to just say all the trees are deciduous. So we have select all, small tree, medium tree, large tree. We don't know if they're. I could probably. I should check the species and see if they're evergreen or not, etc. But and then I'm just going to say this is the code for all of this. That's deciduous tree. And then we go back, and now bamboos. I suppose they are evergreens. So we could say I want to record evergreens perennials as a separate one here. I could then because that's not in here. You could have had a separate one called bamboo or whatever. That's up to you. But
if I can quickly interrupt, Havard, we're going to have some work done on our power lines today, and I just got a notification that in about 5 minutes or so they're going to be shutting off the power to our main building, so I might lose the internet.
Oh, okay.
So
well,
if
you have the recording. Sorry.
If I disappear, it's not on purpose. I'm
okay.
just being forced out.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the code should be here? That's a shame, but PE2. I'm just calling it that just for the sake of it now. So here we've got evergreen perennial. So that's how you add these things. I'm saving that, and then I go back to my bamboos and then change those. Okay. So this.
Yeah. Could you just go back one step and show us how you inserted a new life form column in this field?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So I basically expanded the life form here.
Yes.
Put the marker here, and then click that green button up here in the left corner.
I got it.
And then you fill in, and then you click save.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks. I think for this, let's see. Did you have anything else to add, Greg?
Well, you could mention the default value on that the previous screen. If you check one of those and enter a new entry for a taxon, it's going to automatically put in that field. Like say you're a garden that only grows palms, and 99% of all that you enter would be palms. That might be handy. But if you're someplace like us that has a variety of things, then you want to leave that blank.
Yep. good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit risky, but I agree with you if you only have palms or 99%. Yep. But it's sometimes a bit risky then you don't ever bother to fill it out, and then suddenly you have only palms. So, but yes, a very good point.
Yeah, and then over also the sort column, if you want to order those so that they make more sense, like the most common things are at the top, you can order them so that the columns are sorted how you like them.
Yeah. So I'm just going to skip those palms. We have a few vines. Just do P2 on the vines, and then you can see this can be very time consuming. But we had quite a lot of palms. Never mind. Palm, delete. Okay, great. So now I have sorted out the light form. And here we got source, so that's contact in Iris, contact code. Here, the best thing is I think you have to use the code here as well. So if I go back to my screen here, so you might be able to use the name. I don't think so, actually. So I'm just going to, yeah. So you have to then, look at all your contacts to find the codes. I know that if I want to find Lausanne, I can use this asterisk to search for everything that contains Laus, and I got it straight away. So, and nice, the code for Lausanne is Lausanne, so it's very nice. So I could just change the code for that, contact code, and here Lund, Botaniska trädgården in Lund. I know that's Lund, and I know this is Oslo, so that goes very quickly. Nice. Okay. And then growing conditions, full sun, water. That looks like taxon cultivation, or no. Hold on. If I go back to taxa screen, details, we have propagation and cultivation. So that's cultivation.
Yeah, I'd say that's more cultivation.
But you had a bit of influence at the Dawes Arboretum, Greg, to stop them from changing the power.
I wish, yeah. Well, we're having the road out front widened to put in some turn lanes and all, which will be nice. So.
Okay, yeah, you applaud it. Okay, flower color. That's a field that is not in the system. I know that. So I need to add this as a new field because we don't have that. I will. Now, there's a very cool feature in Iris now to introduce checked combo boxes, so you can have multiple colors and things. We're not going to do that now. We're just going to add a text field called flower color. But there's something about that in our last webinar where we talked about the new features in the custom attributes. So if I go to custom attributes, you will see that we don't have anything called flower color. So I'm going to add that. Add, just call it flower. Okay, I'm going to do American spelling here, just to be get gentle with you. So there are a lot of possibilities when you create custom fields, but string is very handy. I can also use code. No, list, I mean. Maybe I'll do list, because that will then you will see the previously used values. So that's quite handy. And then here, this is the crucial bit. This is the field name for data import, @_ blah, blah, blah. So I will go back to my spreadsheet and P flower color. There we go. And I see here it's a bit pink, lowercase, etc. So again, I can use my little IrisBG tool here to change it so that it's all capitalized like that. There we go. Nice. And the next thing here, here we got also some uppercase things. So here it's also nice to just get rid of the blank so you can see what you have maybe. But so you see here we got some. So I'm just going to tidy that up as well to make that sentence case. If there's some punctuation in there, it will make it. Yeah. So open it up again. I know I'm speeding along a bit. Okay. Comments. That looks like. I think purple. I think I'm going to give that to description. Taxon description. Good. And then we get bed. So these are the beds, and these need to. They are called item location in Iris. These need to be the codes. So some places we have the code, some places we don't. So here we need to then figure out what would be the right code in again. So I need to go back to Iris and then go under management, locations. And here I can see that the nursery have NU1, NU2. So I need to just go back to my spreadsheet and change it to, let's say we know it was nursery 1. So I'm just going to do that. And then NU1 like that. Rock garden. I know that's R23. So I just need to do that. R23. Scented garden. What's that again? So that's T01, T03, and then, oops, here we got 2 together. Now that's a classic. So how do you do that? Well, I'll get to that later. Let's finish off the details for the planting here. So this is location, item, status, date, and item spec count. So that's number of specimens. And here in our garden we don't use clump, we use group. Yeah. And the one thing we need to tell the system is what kind of material is this. These are plants, so we need to item type. That is required. So we need to tell, because it can take herbarium vouchers and everything else. So I'm just going to put P on that. I think that's all we need. Yeah. So I'm just going to do the Greg trick again. And here we need to do something. I'm just going to say it's 16 and then add them together, fix them like that. Now for this one with 2, you can basically import multiple plants if they're in different locations by introducing item location _1, item location _2, etc. But then you need a full set of all those 4 fields. So and before we do that, we need to also have item status. So I'm just going to insert a column here. Item status. That's also required. So we're going to put them to planted, all of them, because that's what happened. And, oops, why didn't that work? No idea. I'm just going to do my regular. We go planted. Now these red ones were dead, and typically it's not uncommon that people have used color codes to signify some values. If there's a lot of it, what you can do is you can actually use on the filter. You can also filter by color. So I can do it that way to find all the dead ones. So these are the ones that are dead.
And again, the status codes are what you set in your own system. This is what what comes with the trial, though.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So here we go. Here we go to all of them again. So yeah, the plant status, I can show you where that is as well, or item status. That's here under item status. Here you go. So here you can either use the code or the text. I'm just using the text for simplifying. So now I split it up, as you see. Now we need to split that one up. Now I have cheated, so I have already prepared these columns for us. So item location, you see item location, item status, date, item spec count, item status, and item type. So I'm just going to copy that one over. And so this one is in R44, and this one is in R22. And then there's two that went to that part of the garden, and one to the other. Okay, so that's how you deal with it if you have several plants on one accession and they all got sent into different parts. So now we get two qualifiers. This will then be qualifier 1, and this will be qualifier 2, or A and B, depending on how you set up your system. Okay, did we do everything? I think so. Looks quite promising. So
I'm not sure if you saved your life form types when you switched out of your screen. You might out have saved those updates you made. Yeah.
Let's see. Go list. I got the evergreen perennial in. Yeah. I was fooling around with something else, so it's in there. But I can save it again if you. Yeah. Okay. So now we're ready to test this import. Now, the thing to note with Iris is that it can take spreadsheets, but it can't take spreadsheets that are filled with difficult, complicated formulas. It might actually manage this particular formula that we have here, which we calculate the year. I'm not sure, this one here. But to make it easy for ourselves, we have a function in the toolbar called Ready for Import. What it does, it creates a copy of the spreadsheet and removes all formulas, so you don't have to worry about it. So that's what I'm going to do. So it makes a copy, which it's called same name, field name, and then import ready in brackets. So now we're ready. And then I go back to Iris. And then I go under import data, open file. And here we got it, import ready. And then it will munch away. Luckily, this sheet isn't too big. If you have thousands, it will take a while. And that's the tip. Also, if you try to figure this out and learn it a bit and try things, we got a lot of faults, a lot of mistakes. That's interesting. What was that? Items. So yeah, okay. Let's take a break, or not a break, but let's look at this. So what you do here, you get a lot of, you get question marks. So the spreadsheet will be split up in different things. Accessions, items, and taxon names, etc. And you get some marks for what's gone wrong. And here you got the information. Here is a summary of what went wrong. And here we can see. So don't be frightened if you see this. It looks a bit scary the first time, but we forgot to fill in provenance code. Mm-hmm. So that means that everything went wrong. So that and it will stop after 20 rows. In addition, we got some place code that's wrong, R44. Oh, I forgot a hyphen in there. Good. Okay, so this is not too bad. It looks bad, but it isn't that bad. So I can just go back to my spreadsheet. And we need to put in provenance, of course. Provenance. Good. And these are all garden. So I'm just going to fill that in. Okay. And then what's this R44? Yeah, that way we have that. Just to go back, if I'd gone here to items, I would have seen it down here. You can see it coming up. Oh, that's something wrong there. Yeah. So I'm going to find that. It was that here. Yeah. So there we go. Cool. So we'll try again. Not create pivot table, but this one, ready for import. So, yep, thank you very much. Now go in here and open the file. And then, yes. It's munching. Ooh, that was good.
Yeah.
So now it's very tempting to go straight up and click accept and take an early break. But there's one top tip that is very important, and that is when you get new data, check at least. I mean, it's a good thing to check all the taxa, but check the taxonomy groups. We got a number of new genera here. Here's one. And if you've misspelled it, it will think it's a new genera. So, and I'm an expert, so I can see that this is misspelled. Well, I just did look through this, and I know this is a misspelling. So that's a classic. One thing you could do if you're not sure is basically I can show you what happens if I Google this particular one. Just click Google. Did you mean that's a good hint that we actually misspelled it. So that's the correct name for this species or this species. So I'm going to fix that as well. Going back to and if I go back I'm just going to, when you look at this, you see here which row it is. So this is row number 6. That might, in this small spreadsheet, it's not a problem. But when you have a couple of hundred lines, that's quite helpful to find the data that way. So I'm going back to row 6. So it's actually row 7, but it's I'm going to paste in the name. I'm just going to paste it without the font. So I'm going to do paste special. And then do text. So there we go. So that's the correct genus name. And that's it. I don't think there's anything. I mean, I should check all the others, but Azalea. That doesn't look right either. So that's Azalea. Okay. We'll try it again. Final touch. There we go. I think we lost Greg now. Yes. Okay. And then open file. Okay. So now they're ready for import. We can see that we're getting X number of plants coming in. It all looks good. It's a good thing to take that time to just look through it before you click accept, because if you make a sort of here you get all the new names coming in. So it's sort of the cultivar name is all over here, so that's also nice to choose. So it's smart to do that before you click, because if you then import a lot of it, you will typically get it can be hard to fix if it's like 150 records that are wrong. So, but I'm going to accept this and let it go, take its time, and yeah. So that's finished. It's done, and you see here. Yeah, good. So let's see. Okay. Let's take any questions. We have, if there's any questions relating to data import, I think to summarize, we've gone through one example. There is on our website there is a template you can use that is particularly for if I go back to downloads here, support downloads, you can download one template here, data import template. That's basically for recording accessions. But if you want to import something else, it might not be the one to use. You can also go here in Iris. There are a number of reports that are handy for data import. This one, for example, you can also use this one to prepare a report that has the layout you need, so you know exactly how you're going to fill it out, etc. So that's yeah. Okay, let's move over to some questions from people here. So here's one from Rebecca. Where's the cultivar name in the reports?
I think Christina had a question before mine.
Oh yeah, okay. Sorry, I was. Oh yeah, we should go in chronological. Thank you very much. Yeah. So.
I just want to skip. Okay.
Yeah. Do you have to use the code list value? Yeah. Well, that question, code or value, it should say. If you use a code, you are 100% sure. There are some places where you have to use the code. I think for contacts, for example, let's see, where is the help file? So it often says what you should have. Here it only says contact code. So you can't use the contact name, but I mean, basically try it out, but don't invest preparing a very big spreadsheet with hundreds of lines and then you made the right. So experiment with a very short, 5 records. That's my tip if you want to sort of figure out what works and what doesn't work. Okay. Yeah, so where is the cultivar name? So when running reports, are we now asking about where's the cultivar name in the output or in the when you actually ask for a report? When it comes to the output, if you run a taxa report, so for example, or often, especially when you run the accession report, you get one field called taxon name, where you have all the taxon fields put together. And then you could have the cultivar. Let's say if you want to run this particular one, items data. I'm not sure if this will. Let's see if I do accession year 2012, 2014, just to have a quick short report. You see that will just have taxon name. But it doesn't have cultivar. So if you want to add cultivar to this report, you can do that by going back to Iris and then into definitions, report types, and there you see the reports I had. And then I can go into this particular report that I did and then go down here and then click on the fields column and then go down here to, hopefully I'll find cultivar. Here we go. So I'm going to put that in just after here. So I just double click and then it comes here. I'm going to pull it up one. So now I have a cultivar part of it in the report. So next time I run the report, cultivar will be included. So without SIM card, can our mobile device record photos and information directly to accession numbers while in the field? Yes, it can. Yeah. So the SIM card has no. It's not important, or it doesn't have to be. So let's see. Is it possible to unlock and make a correction to an error in a taxon name in the accession window? Well, yes, and the answer is yes. I'll show you. So if I bring up an accession screen or any accession, let's say this one, and if I saw that this is a spelling mistake, you can get access to the underlying taxa directly here. And then, so let's say it wasn't a Ramosum, maybe it was a Ramosuma. Then I can change that, fix that mistake, and there you go. Very simple. But keep in mind that if you have a spelling mistake and you have a correct taxa as well, So let's say you had the Ramusa and Ramusum, etc., and there were two of them, and then you want to. So if I now change that to the other one, you might get an error message because it already exists. That's when you need to use the expire button because it was a spelling mistake. So you use the expire, and then you say that you want to delete it and transfer all the taxa over to the other correct spelled taxa. That was the correct one.
Okay, so you use the expire button to say that you only would like to correct that particular record?
Well, you use the expire button if this particular taxa you have in front of you is completely wrong, but there's a right one somewhere else. If you've misspelled it, you have recorded misspelling. You have recorded a new taxa that's misspelled, but you also have the right spelled taxa already recorded.
Yes.
That's when you use the expire button.
Okay.
But if it's a misspelling and it's the right taxa, but it's just a misspelling, then you just do it. Then you just change you fix the data straight in the screen here and click save, and then you can go back and carry on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Good. Yeah, so great. So here's Christina. After it accepts, do you do anything else? No, you don't. No. What happened to my data? That's a good question. Here's my data imported. I did expect it to get a job number here. It should. Why? So here's job number 85. Oh, here we go. So this is number 85. So just to summarize, you can find this if I now. Oops, sorry. If I clear the screen. If I search at this later point, you will see that you can open this up again to look at it. So it still will be kept as a reference in the database, and you now see what you know the accession numbers I got, etc. Now, if I want to have a look at these accessions, I can go in here and find them. The easiest way to find them is actually to look at when they were registered. So if I do registration, everything that was recorded today should be enough, because I know I haven't done anything else. So here are all the accessions straight away, 32 of them. Yeah, that makes sense. There was 33 lines. Yeah, so I can then go through and have a look and see how they turned out. Okay. Yeah, so it's to clarify this. Yeah, so expire is to merge one taxa with another. Delete is to when you try to if I try to delete this one, it will tell me that it is in use. It says here taxon is in use. But if it isn't in use, then you want you can just delete it straight away. Then it will just allow you to delete it straight away. Yeah. So when it comes to access control, there's a question now: how do I limit access to Iris? So the way you do it is down here in authorization. Where you deal with user accounts and user roles. So when you give people access, grant people access, let's say I'm going to add a new user here quickly. I start then by adding him in personnel, and we're going to give him initials, Don, and last it's a Donald, but another one. Sorry, I don't want to be disrespectful, but Donald Duck has just started to work here, and then we grant access to this person by going in here to say add a new user. Here is Donald, will be here. We give him password change me, and then to give him access to the garden, we click add sub item, and then I can say we want to give him to the garden. So if you have a setup with many gardens or many collections, you will have multiple here. Then you can give access to all collections. And this is where you tell what kind of access, what the person will be able to do. So that's so you do that by making logical group roles to everyone. So I'm just going to say this person is a gardener or botanist. So now Donald can log in with password change me, and he will access botanist. Now what he can do is go back here under role types, and here you can tweak the different roles and say what the person can do. So this is basically different screens and what kind of operation the person can do in the different screens. And that is 5 levels. You can't do anything, or you can just look, you can update and delete, or you can admin. That means that you can do absolutely everything. Sometimes admin, there are some extra features you can do there. Yep. But look on, if you want to, you can also do this by going on to our video tutorials here and look under advanced, and there you will see managing user access is a tutorial you can have a look at. Okay, I see that we're sort of running a bit out of time. I suppose people are keen to go elsewhere, maybe. I don't know. But I will put this onto our. So if you want to keep track of these videos, I suggest if you go to our YouTube channel. What we'll do is we push when the video is ready, we'll put it on our on Facebook, but also on our YouTube channel. So if you follow that, you will get the updates. Let's see. Yeah. So we see here we have a playlist called Q&A webinars. If I go there, here all the webinars will pop up when they're ready. Okay. So thank you very much for joining, everybody. And see you next Thursday in a month, if not before. Before I say anything else, I want to finish off by reminding people that under our blog article, the latest blog article, if you don't subscribe to that, you will see all our workshops and meetings. So there is webinars, obviously, we've been to that, and then there's a UK meeting on May the 3rd. There's also a user conference in Leiden, fantastic place, on May the 11th and 12th. And then we will be at the APGA conference on June the 6th to 10. We will have a few workshops there as well. So hopefully I'll see you there. Yeah, very much. Well, thank you very much for joining, and see you in a month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.